I worked myself out of a job, and a friend showed up and asked me if I wanted to drive truck. I went down and got a book. It was a Friday. I went down and got a book after I talked to his boss. And I went, studied the book over the weekend, took the test Monday, and I said, when do we leave? And I think 5 o'clock that night, we were on our way to Seattle. That's just how quick it happened. I learned the old-fashioned way. I went out with him. First couple of drives, wow, I took a bus to pick up one of the company I was working for's trucks in Fresno, California, and I went down there, picked up produce, and brought it up to Seattle. It was interesting. It was a learning experience, but I like to drive, so it's been wonderful. I like to, but you get good loads and you get bad loads, so it just depends on how things work. Oh, it's way different than driving a regular vehicle. You don't do anything fast in a truck. I mean, if you're loaded to the hilt, you're 80,000 pounds. And these, they've got brakes that adjust to weight. You know, they work harder the more weight you got on them, but still, if I'm doing 55 miles an hour and I stomp on the brakes, it's about a football field before it stops. And that's, yeah, and that's standing on the brakes. And they don't take off fast. I mean, you're not going to drag race in a truck. Yeah, it's your size, your width. I've noticed, like lately, lanes have shrunk. Not as much side to side room to move around. And plus, speeds out on the highways are much higher. 80 miles an hour. We don't do 80. I believe that's an insurance issue, which I understand completely. But yeah, we don't, and people get upset because we're in the way. But if you want your tennis shoes and your groceries, you need us. I've hauled, I don't haul hazardous materials, but I've hauled Pepsi, Coke, truck bed liners, produce, oranges, apples, melons, grain. I've had all kinds of things, COVID, toilet paper, paper towels, you name it. It's been in the truck. I'm actually taking a trailer for another company, a moving company that's got some empty crates on it that are going north to Alaska because of the lumber shortage. They're short of crates up north. And about 95% of it's military moves because that's when they do all their moves, and there's a whole lot of bases up there. So I'm taking a trailer up to Fairbanks, drop it off with a bunch of crates on it. I don't have a boss hanging over my shoulder. I don't mind being alone. Like I said earlier, I'm a paid tourist. I hop on the Alaska run that we do during the summers for K&K because last time I was up, I saw 8 or 10 black bears, a brown bear, 4 or 5 moose. I've seen lynx, bobcat, caribou, reindeer, So yeah, I just like looking around. I get to see all those things that people don't get to see. Us truck drivers have a lot of time to just think. I like to listen to audiobooks because I'm a reader. And well, you can't read and drive at the same time. That's not going to happen. So I listen to audiobooks. The boss pays for satellite radio, so I listen to radio. I listen to the news. I listen to rock and roll, blues, country, whatever's on the radio. Just got to keep the mind busy, and then we got to pay attention. 80,000 pounds at 65 miles an hour. We got to pay attention. But yeah, I do okay. And nowadays, we have these. When I started driving truck, it was a phone card and a pay phone, which means you had to stop. But now I do this and I can control this from the steering wheel. So I don't even have to touch the phone. And I can call my wife or the kids anytime I want. which makes it easier when you're gone so long. You gotta wanna do this. I believe this is like farming, ranching, something that's, my job consists of, I'm usually gone, short run it'd be 10 days. Long run it'd be about 3 weeks that I'm away from home. And then you got to make it count when you get home.
Yeah, you're not just sitting there
doing
nothing.
No.
Yeah.
The honey-do list. Yeah, you got the honey-do list. You got things you want to get done. You got to, pay attention to the wife, not just sit in front of the television and watch whatever she recorded on the DVR, which my wife does a lot of. But yeah, you just got to make it count. My wife and I have been married 29 years. I had a heart attack on the road.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 10 years ago. It was over in Wisconsin. I had a heart attack. They picked me up in an ambulance and took off with me. My wife stayed with the truck because we had a dog with us. My wife was with me for a few years in the truck, and because our kids were grown and gone. And I just, my father-in-law came out and picked me and the wife up and the dog and brought us back, and I worked myself back into the truck. It took a month or two. But that was scary. Nobody wants to work anymore. There's not a lot of young people in trucks, and not a lot of women. And I don't know why, other than society at large in their opinions. Women are just as good as us guys. But it's pretty much always been the same, really. There's always been a shortage of truck drivers. The other big issue is parking. You can't pull into a Walmart in one of these. Well, you can. There are a few Walmarts that do that, thank you. And a few other places that do that. But yeah, it's always pretty much the same on the shortage is people don't want to work. A lot of drivers I see are as gray as I am, or grayer. It's just nobody wants to put in the hours anymore. I remember when I first started driving truck, if you looked in the paper for truck driving jobs, we were under skilled labor. Now we're just labor. We're just general labor. You can put anybody in here to drive this truck. It's an automatic. It's just like your Chevy. Yeah, put it in, drive, and go. It's just, you've got 80,000 pounds. It doesn't stop. It bends in the middle. You got to back into docks. It's society. Most people nowadays want it handed to them. It's like the unemployment thing with the extra money. That's why nobody wants to work. I was telling you, there's for hire signs everywhere. If it was like this when I was a kid, I'd have gone nuts. I'd have had 2 or 3 jobs just because I could learn different things. So yeah, it's society, really. Too many people are used to having it handed to them nowadays. Stuff's too easy. That's why they don't list us as skilled labor anymore. We're just a bunch of, and I hate to say this, rednecks just driving truck. No, I know a lot of people that are really smart that drive trucks for a living. And because we have a lot of time to think. And you can learn things on audiobook. But yeah, I don't know any other way to explain it. I'm just a simple guy. I just want a decent day's pay for a decent day's work. And with this, if the truck don't move, I don't get paid. I get paid per the mile. So if that odometer doesn't move, I don't get paid. And neither does my boss. So as long as I keep moving, I keep working, people keep getting their Nikes and, their Nutter Butters and their Starbucks Frappuccinos in a can, and which I like. Coffee. When you're a kid, it's Pepsi, Coke, when you're older, it's coffee.
All the coffee.
If it's something you haven't done and you're interested in, do it. If you quit learning, you quit living. I try and learn. I've been driving for 23 years and I learn something new every day in this truck, about this truck, and being on the road. I'm just generalizing, I believe I did about 155,000 miles last year. And 6 months of that was running back and forth to Alaska. And that's 4 days up, taking a day off, 4 days back, taking a day off, 4 days up, taking a day off, 4 days back, taking a day off. And I did that for 6 months straight. So it's close to 15,000 miles a month, but like I said, I get paid by the mile, and my wife likes that paycheck. The grandkids had a great Christmas.